Yeah. Uh-huh. 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 Yeah. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yeah. Uh-huh. 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 Yeah. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yeah.
Institute for Higher Consciousness, or IFHC is what we like to call it. Listen, I am so excited about the things that I've been learning. They've literally opened my eyes, opened my spirit. Some of the things, some of the concepts and the ideas are things that I've never ever thought about. I'm telling you, there's one teaching about the elements, and I'm not going to get into it because I can't do it. But that teaching right there alone is absolutely life-changing. And so I'm telling you today, you need to join us, join up, join the courses, sign up, do whatever you need to do, make the investment. If you want to see a change in your life, you need to join IFHC today. Your mind will be blown 1000%. Regina L. Stillman is one of the most brilliant minds that I've come across in the last 30 years. So I'm telling you right now, you need to be in these classes. IFHC, Institute for Higher Consciousness. I want to see you there. All right.
Gracious God, creator of the universe, and yet the lover of my soul. Alpha and Omega, and yet I can call you friend. I don't have to beg you for anything, but I can thank you for everything. God, I thank you because this is the day that you have made, and I can rejoice and be glad in it. Thank you for this day of magnificence and glory and splendor. God, I thank you for life, health, and for strength. I thank you for soundness of mind. I thank you for peace, love, and joy. I thank you for the essence of you that envelops me right now, from the crown of my head to the soles of my feet. We thank you for this day of manifestation. We thank you for the day of revelation. We thank you for the day of impartation. We thank you as you move in the midst of your people to bring us to the greatest times that we've ever seen since the foundation of the world. Thank you, Lord, that for this time and for this season, you've allowed us to be a part of your move in the face of the earth. I thank you, God, for the revolution that you're bringing forth, God, even in the midst of the earth right now. And I thank you for the opportunity to be a part of what you're doing in this hour, because in the last days, saith God, you said you would pour out your spirit on all flesh. And so now we thank you for the pouring out. God, I thank you for the rain and the move of your spirit. I thank you for fresh oil. I thank you for new wine. I thank you for the new thing that you're doing. I thank you now that it does spring forth. I thank you, Lord, that you've called us to be the head and not the tail. You've called us to be above only and not beneath. You've called us to be the lender and not the borrower. You've called, God, that our storehouses would be full and increase. God, I thank you because even I decree and declare that the people under the sound of my voice, even now, are moving in the might of your strength. Not by might nor by power, but by your spirit. I thank you for those that are the sons and daughters of God that are called because they walk not after the flesh, but after your spirit. I thank you for the rising up of the people of your kingdom. I thank you that your kingdom come. I thank you that your will be done, even now in earth as it is in heaven. I thank you, Lord, because you are moving in the midst of your people mightily as never before. Raise us up, oh God, to the standard of what you've called us to be. God, I thank you for the standard of greatness. I thank you for the standard of holiness. I thank you for the standard of moving as the sons and daughters of yours, and not as vagabonds, not as those that never knew you, not as those that are confused and confounded, but God, those that know who they are in you. I thank you for the knowing. I thank you, God, for knowing you. I thank you for knowing your presence. Thank you for knowing your Holy Ghost power that gives us the ability to be successful. Your anointing that gives us the power to rise up and be called blessed. Thank you for that is in us. Thank you, God, for all things that pertain to life and godliness. Thank you because we are not confused. We are not deceived. And we thank you for that clarity of mind and the clarity of vision that allows us to walk forth as kings and queens, as princes and princesses in the kingdom that walk in the earth. We thank you that we are your beloved, and we rise up as the apple of your eye. We rise up, oh God, as those that you love with all of your heart. And God, we love you back. I thank you for soundness of mind. I thank you for soundness of spirit. I thank you that healing is our bread. Healing is our deliverance. By the stripes of Jesus, we're already healed. And we speak forth that healing even now for those that need it. Thank you, God, for every stripe that was taken. Thank you for the bruising. Thank you that he was wounded for our transgressions, bruised for our iniquities. The chastisement of our peace was upon him. God, with those same stripes we declare and we speak healing in Jesus' name. We give you glory. We give you peace. We give you honor. We give you blessing. We give you might. We ascribe all of these things unto you because they are yours. Thank you. The fruit of my lips giving thanks unto your name. Ever giving you all that is yours. Glory, honor, power, dominion, majesty. It's yours. I decree it and I speak it. In the mighty name of Jesus, it is so. Amen and amen. Well, good morning, good morning, good morning. I want to welcome you to today's edition of Yes, You O Cubed. What does O Cubed stand for? One on one? Because it's just me and you. I am your spiritual thought leader, Regina L. Stillman, and I want to appreciate you for joining me on today. It is Thursday, y'all. It's Friday Eve. August the 10th in the year 2023. It's another day's journey, and I'm glad about it. Now, I appreciate everybody that's come in this morning. You are truly a blessing to me, and I appreciate you for being here. You know how we get the party started. You know how we get the party crack-a-lacking. We like to come in and appreciate all of those that came in to give their love, joy, peace, soul, and happiness, and make sure it's here in the Lion's Den when the rest of us get here at 7 o'clock in the morning Central Time. Now, I want to appreciate my brother, truck driver. Come on and give it up for him. He came in. That's our security. He said he's at the front door and he's on duty. He's been on duty since this morning, and I appreciate you, truck. That's my brother from another mother. Love me some you, and thank you for coming in and handling the business. Now, another brother to come in the Lion's Den this morning was none other than CJ Manning. CJ Manning and CJ Manning 7 in, if you know him from Twitch. Thank you for coming in, my brother. Come on, we're giving it up to you this morning. He said he was just passing through and wanted to tell everybody in the Lion's Den this morning and hello on this thankful Thursday. And this is a beautiful day and beautiful people. And I appreciate all of you that are in the room. Then I also had my sister. Yes, our partner in crime for our Christmas cruise that's coming up in December, our partner in crime for our travel needs. We appreciate her. None other than T. Summers. Thank you for coming in, T. So much mad love to you. Come through, come through, come through. We love you. Now, the third person to make it into the Lion's Den this morning was none other than DJ Rock and Ron. Woo! DJ Rock and Ron. Thank you for coming in, my brother. That's another brother. He said, let's roar on this Thursday. And that's what we're going to do. Boom. That's my guy. That's my brother right there. DJ Rock and Ron. I appreciate you. Then the second person coming in the Lion's Den this morning was none other than KK79, woo! Otherwise known as KK Michelle out there in Facebook land. I appreciate you. That is my beautiful soul. I love me some KK79. Thank you for coming in. And CJ Manning 7, I see you this morning. And thank you for coming in to the VIP section this morning, bringing all the love, joy, peace, soul, and happiness into the Lion's Den. But the winner of Grandpa Holmes's chair is none other than Sassy Cassie, otherwise known as my girl. Let's see, what is she on? Y'all help me. Cassandra Woke. I had a moment. I had a senior moment. Cassandra Woke 2022. You are the winner. Yay! You are the winner of Grandpa Holmes's chair. Get your lips, get your hips, and get your fingertips right on over there in that chair. We appreciate you. Nothing but mad love for you. Cassandra Woke 2022, also known as Sassy Cassie Slide and Glide. We love us some you, sis, and thank you for coming on in here this morning and being the winner of Grandpa Holmes's chair. She came in roaring. She came in giving love. She came in giving hugs and kisses. She came in just with all of the joy that she could bring. I love me some you. Thank you for coming in. Now, you know where we like to go from here. Go ahead and get that mod love out. Get that mod love out. Get that mod love out. Because listen, I have the best moderators in the world. We're going to start with none other than Shelly Thunder. Yes, Shelly Thunder is my moderator. She's the prophetess. She'll come in and give you a word in season. She'll also give you a prayer when you need it. But at the same time, she'll block your tail. She will do it. I see that, my love, Stacy 546. She will do it. She'll come in and block your tail in a heartbeat because she does not play. Try Jesus, don't try us. I see that, my love, CJ Manning 7. Come on in here. Now, then we're led by the leader of the pack, none other than the Rebel Inc. Yes, the Rebel Inc. is my ace boon coon, my day one. She is an extraordinary moderator out here in these Twitch streets. I see that, my love, the Rebel Inc. Yes, the Rebel Inc. is a streamer, you all. And if you're not following the Rebel Inc., quit chewing away. Just quit them. Because I promise you, she's going to bless your whole life. We'll be rolling over there in just a minute in station identification. As soon as we wrap up here, we're headed over there to the rebellious ones to have ourselves a good time. Now, then I want to say the Quiet Storm. The Quiet Storm is also a moderator in this channel. I want you to know that she is my angel. Yes, that's my heart. Y'all got to stay with me now. Stay with me. I explained that on yesterday, but I want y'all, you see me doing the heart. You see me doing the heart move. That's what you hear. Now, as I said, she is going to get married whether she wants to or not. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, all of that. Now, that's my girl, and I tell you what, she changes the atmosphere just by being in it. That's a good harp, Stacy. Thank you, sis. Thank you. Thank you for the love. Listen, she is that one that will change the atmosphere just by being in it. These three beautiful ladies, I call them my blessed trinity. I love me some them, and I appreciate everybody for giving them the mad love on this morning. Now, you know how my mother said, when you walk into the room, speak to somebody. I want to come around and say good morning to everybody that I can see this morning. And again, my apologies for those that I cannot see, but I appreciate you for being here. And I always like to say, for those that don't talk in the chat, but you just hold space out there and listen and audit, I want to say thank you to you as well, because you make all the difference in the world just by being here. Now, I see DJ Rockin' Ron, and DJ Rockin' Ron is a streamer, you all. And if you're not following DJ Rockin' Ron, quit chewing away. Just quit him, because I promise you, he's going to bless your whole life. Good morning to you, my brother. Mad love to you. Stacy 546 is my schoolmate and my friend for life. Come on in here, sis. Nothing but mad love to you. And it's so good to see you back in the Lion's Den. Coming on around, and I see Sheila Stillman is in the room. That's my big, beautiful sister, not to be confused with my biggest, big, beautiful sister, but she's my big, beautiful sister anyhow. Come on in here, sis. Good morning to you, and let's roar, as well as SK8843. Come through. Mad love to you. Coming on down, and I'm looking and I'm looking and I'm seeing who else is in here this morning, and I see the Rebel Inc. is here. Yes, as I told you earlier, the Rebel Inc. is a streamer. And if you're not following the Rebel Inc., quit chewing your ways. Just quit them, children, because I promise you, she's going to bless your whole entire life. Then coming on down, and I saw Truck Driver. Come on in here, Truck. So much mad love to you. That's my Mufasa. That's my brother from another mother. That's my brother until 10 toes up and palms down. We riding this thing, Truck. We riding this thing. Coming on down, and who else did I see? But CJ Manning 7 is in the room this morning. Good morning to you, my brother. Nothing but mad love to you. CJ Manning 7 is also a streamer. And if you're not following CJ Manning 7, quit chewing away. Just quit him, because I promise you, he's going to bless your whole life. Mad love to you. Glenda M.H. Groves is in the room. Another schoolmate, another friend, and yes, extended family. Come on in here, Glenda M.H. Groves. Mad love to you, and it's good to see your face in the place. Nothing but blessings and nothing but mad love to you. Coming on down, and I'm going to look and see who came in the basement while I was upstairs. Did anybody else make it in this morning? I appreciate you for being here. Shelly Thunder. The prophetess is in the room. So much mad love to you. You are precious to my soul. Good morning to you. And come on in here and make yourself right on at home. I appreciate you more than you could ever know. Now, coming on down, and Cassandra Woke 2022, also known as Sassy Cassie, and the winner of Grandpa Holmes' chair this morning. Good morning to you, Sassy Cassie. Nothing but mad love coming your way, sis. I appreciate you for being here. That's my poet laureate. And yes, Oklahoma, where the wind comes streaming down the main. I see that, mod love, Cassie Sassy. Appreciate you for that, because my moderators are definitely deserving of that. And to all of you again that I cannot see, oh my goodness, the groom is here. John Studios, also known to many of you as JJ. Come on in here, John Johnson. This baby is an angel. He really, really is. I appreciate him. We tease him and Michelle Brownell, but these are two of my favorite people. Two of my favorite people. This brother right here is a streamer, has a heart of gold, has one of the biggest hearts you ever wanted to see. I love you, JJ. I love you, John. Now, John is also a streamer. And if you're not following John Studios, Studio, if you're not following John Studios, quit your ways, quit him, because he's going to bless your whole life as he's out here blessing a whole bunch of people out here in the Twitch streets. I appreciate you, my brother. Come on in here this morning. Then let's see. I saw MCP812. She skipped on in here this morning. She slipped on in here this morning. That's my sister, cousin, pastor, friend. Come on, MCP812. Good morning to you, and nothing but mad love to you. I appreciate you for being in the Lion's Den. I see all that love you got out there, SK8843, and the Lion's Den is just absorbing every drop of it. Coming on down, and I'm looking. DJ Rock Around, you see that ring? I see that wedding ring. You better talk to me, because we trying our best. Rebel already said, if John Studios and Michelle Brownell don't show up, we're having a wedding anyway. We're having a wedding anyhow, whether they show up or not. These two folk right here, and I see you got the ring. That's all we need. We ready to go. Now, coming on down, and I'm looking and I'm booking. I appreciate everybody that's in the Lion's Den this morning. It is such a blessing to be here with you. Now, we're going to go and we're going to get started. You know how we get this party started. Get your coffee cups out. Get your coffee cups out. Get your coffee cups out. Because it was reported to me, whilst we slumbered, slept, and slobbered. Now, look at here, children. I'm going to share a few things from actually CNN News this morning was reporting. I see your coffee cup, MCP812. I see your coffee cup, Stacy546. I see you. Now, it's a whole lot going on out here in these here streets. I see your coffee cup, Shelly Thunder. It's reported to me. Now, this one, it's stuff going on all around the world. So in Maui, we got fires. We got fires breaking out everywhere. Fires just going crazy. I see your coffee cups, the Rebel Inc. We got wildfires out in Maui, and they're trying to get the folks off the island. Listen, they over there feeling like they part of Gilligan's Island right now. Y'all remember Gilligan? Y'all remember the skipper? Y'all remember... Y'all remember let's see, Marianne, Ginger, the professor. You remember Mr. Howell and his wife. Baby, that's the way the folks on Maui are feeling. Can somebody send a boat, a plane, a train, anything, and get us off this island before we burns up? Listen, Rebel, I's fired up. The people over there in Maui are fired up. Unfortunately, those wildfires are taking a devastating toll on the people there in Maui. And the Saints are trying to get off the island. Please believe it. I'm telling you, like Gilligan, they're trying to get off the island. And so our prayers go out to them that they are able to get a safe departure away from there. It's really... Oh, you hadn't heard that? Come on. Yes. The island is on fire. Not the roof is on fire. The island is on fire. So, and Maui as a travel destination is a place that people have been for many years. Y'all know, while we talking about these continental United States, I want y'all to know, even we have to, as American people, look back on the dastardly way that we took over the Hawaiian Islands, just went over there and put them people like they wasn't there and took over their island and took their commerce, took their trade, took everything and just took it over. Now, I ain't heard nobody saying there's no kind of disaster being declared that the feds are going to send them any money over there. I haven't heard that yet. Maybe they have and I missed it, but I haven't heard it. It wasn't reported to me just as of yet. So yes, Hawaii being one of those plush, lavish places, beauty and just all kind of nature. We went over and took that over too, like we owned everything. But please send up the prayers. They definitely need it. Michelle Brownell, my angel. That's my heart, Michelle. That's my heart. Good morning to my angel. And listen, JJ's already here. Oh my goodness. We both bright and early this morning. What's going on? What's going on this thankful Thursday? Now listen, Empress Meow, good morning to you. Checking in and thank you for the cheers. Nothing but mad love. That's it, Empress. Good morning to you. So much mad love. So again, we're reporting, it was reported to me, Maui's on fire. So we're hoping and praying that those people can get off the island safely and that the fire will be subdued. Just all kinds of property, all kinds of beauty that's being destroyed by fire. I tell you, it's really something going on out there in these streets. Now, that's what's going on in Maui. But then listen, Ecuador is in the news this morning because one of their candidates for their presidential election, it's reported to me, he was assassinated in broad open daylight on yesterday over there in Ecuador. Listen, folks, you just almost have to wonder what is going on. Now, it's nothing new under the sun, but when I tell you there is a transition that's going on right now, they'll probably get treated like Puerto Rico when they suffered damages from the hurricane and needed assistance from the government. Then they're no longer apart, Shelley. You're on your own. We'll come and we'll take your resources. We'll come and we'll take your commerce. We'll come and enjoy the beauty thereof. But when you're in trouble, you're on your own and you ain't far from the truth. You better sip your coffee, Shella Thunder. You better sip, because I don't think you're far from the truth. Listen, so we have that going on in Maui. Then we go over to Ecuador. Yes, they done assassinated the presidential candidate, and I guess somebody didn't like him. So at the end of the day, things are happening everywhere and every day, Cassandra Woke. I read that this morning in my heart. Let's send up our prayers. You're packing up and you're moving more north. I want y'all to just send up the prayers, because definitely, even though we may just make it a story in the headlines, somebody's family member has been taken away from them. Someone and someone's are dealing with the grief and the loss of that situation. So at the end of the day, these folk done lost their mind out here. And when you start talking about politics and power, folks just, for the ability to have a president that you want, that you can control, that is controlling the people. I know MCP 812. Thank you so much for sending those prayers up. I appreciate you. So, at the end of the day, we just really have to deal with the whole element of what's going on all across this world. It's not just dastardly things going on here in the United States of America. Thank you for the prayer, Stacy. It's dastardly stuff going on everywhere. These folks have just almost lost their minds. So it's reported to me Ecuador is reeling and rocking, and that there's violence out here in that South American nation like never before. So please pray for the people of the country. Anytime you get that level of political unrest where you start assassinating candidates and whatnot, it's serious.
It's serious. So, and then 10 days before the first round of elections, 10 days before the election, so at the end of the day, they have declared a state of emergency for the next 60 days. Ecuador has declared a state of emergency for the next 60 days, and they have mobilized their armed forces. So the election is set for August the 20th, and they're planning on going ahead as planned. Now, I guess if you just eliminate the candidates one by one, the person will eventually win, huh? If you just eliminate the candidates one by one, I guess the person will eventually win. So if you're talking about for 60 days of state of emergency, but you're still going to go ahead with the election as if nothing happened. I don't know about that. I just don't know about that. I don't know. I don't know. Now, at the end of the day, let's continue to lift them up in prayer, and I do mean that sincerely, because again, that is no small thing by any stretch of the imagination. Now, then we go over to China. China's in the news with America this morning. So what, we've touched on the fires in Maui. We've got a presidential candidate assassination in Ecuador. Then we go over here to China. Y'all, the world is in a state of upheaval. So lives are valuable. God, thank you for blessing us to show up for life today and walking with every disaster, storm, and situation. Thank you for that prayer, and thank you for those thanks given to God, because truly it wasn't guaranteed that we were going to open our eyes this morning. Hello. There's no guarantee that we were going to open our eyes this morning, but we did. And we are thankful. Now, what is the issue with China? And what about the snake falling on? Listen, wasn't that the craziest thing? I'm on detour and go there, MCP 812. The snake that fell out of the sky on the woman cutting her grass. The snake fell out of the sky, dropped by the hawk, and then it wrapped around her and started attacking her. The snake wrapped around her arm and started attacking her. While the snake was attacking her and biting her, the hawk came down and basically started attacking the snake. So I'm telling you, I've never heard of anything like this in my whole entire life. This woman, can you imagine? Just stop and imagine. You're out here cutting it. Yes, Rebel. She was outside cutting her grass. Snake fell out of the sky. Now, I would have to say the hawk probably already had the snake. That's the thing that I think. The hawk had the snake, and somehow or another, I think the snake fell out of the hawk's mouth and landed on this woman's arm. And she has, oh my God, you can see where she was all bandaged up, where the snake attacked her and started biting her. Then, while the snake is attacking her, the hawk came down and started attacking her and the snake, trying to get the snake. And did eventually get the snake back and fly off into the wild blue yonder. MCP 812, listen, I told my uncle as we sat there and watched that on yesterday, never have I ever heard a story like that. And at the end of the day, I'm like, listen, nothing's impossible. Shelly Thunder, I'm trying to tell you that was Stacy, you'd never cut your grass again. I'm telling you, that had to be the craziest story ever. MCP 812 ever. I watched that and I looked at, man, she was bitten up. That snake did a number on her. It had wrapped itself all around her and just started attacking her, even lunging at her face, only to then have the hawk swoop down out of the sky. Now, if that's not enough, I don't know how that woman will ever go outside to cut her grass again. Because, baby, if that's not a good case for post-traumatic stress disorder, I just don't know what will. Listen, it's the Garden of Eden 2.0, Empress Meow. It's the Garden of Eden 2.0. And come on, the snake bites and the hawk climb. SK 8843. I think I would have post-traumatic stress disorder from now until Jesus comes pretty near on a situation like that. The hot claws, severe cuts on her. I'm telling you, that's the craziest thing I've ever seen, MCPA 12. That story was almost unbelievable. You have PT. Listen, just hearing it, Stacy, there's a whole lot of people after watching that video clip on yesterday, they will be hiring somebody to come cut their grass. Please believe it. They will be hiring somebody from this day forward to come and cut their grass because they're not going to be. That was just the most insane thing, just out of the blue sky. That was amazing. That was absolutely breathtaking and unbelievable. She tickled me to hell with the grass. I hear you, MCPA 12. Listen, that story right there. And she talked about how the doctors, after she told them what happened, went out and started to interrogate her family members because they were, they were really trying. Listen, is she playing with the full deck? I went over to Rebel's house. Listen, is she playing with a full deck? I'm just really confused. Rebel, your spirit done jumped over here on me. SK, you see the eagle, you see the bird. Is she playing with a full deck, children? Deck, DECK. Rebel, your spirit done jumped off on me. If the city wants my grass cut, then they can come cut it. Stacy 546. That's what I'm saying. SK 88. You know what? We thank God for the transfer. Deck, DECK. Is she playing with a full deck? Spell it, cheering. Spell it. DECK. Oh Lord, listen, I don't have where I can see y'all. I'm gonna take a drink myself. I'm gonna take a drink my own self. Lord Jesus, please turn this Powerade into wine, Lord. My God, today. Okay, there we are. Y'all laughing, but I'm telling y'all. Woo! That was, I don't know where that came from. Z Lady C, good morning to you, my beautiful sister. It's so good to see you this morning. So much mad love to you. Come on in here and make yourself at home. So, again, that took place in Texas, and MCPA 12, thank you for giving us that story. Z Lady C, there was some kind of Freudian slip or something. I don't know what happened right there. I had a serious brain twitch. And my words got a little confused. As my daddy said, just keep living. Just keep living. It'll happen to you too. Now, so thank you for bringing that to us this morning, MCPA 12. That was just a remarkable, almost unbelievable story. And I did get tickled when she was talking about how the doctors kind of left her and started interrogating her family to see if she really playing with the full deck, because inquiring minds want to know, and we got questions. The doctors are like, we've got questions. Now, I want to move on. China, on the other hand, is taking President Biden. President Biden said, we're not going to. Anita Harvey, good morning to you. There's my biggest, big, beautiful sister. Come on in here, sis. So much mad love to you. I'm glad to see you this morning. Come in. And BTD Mom. That's my biggest, big, beautiful sister. Mad love to you. Now, China is in uproar this morning. And see, it's like there's stuff going on everywhere. China is in an uproar against Biden this morning. I don't know if you all saw this already or not, but President Biden put sanctions on and said that we would not, from the United States of America, give any kind of can we get a president that's under 60? I got you, Empress Meow, because that man got so much Botox in his forehead. Have y'all seen his forehead? That forehead has just been pumped up. Woo! They want to take every wrinkle and every sign of age off of that man. That man's head just Botox to death. And Z lady, see, that ain't nothing but Botox. That man's forehead he got so much Botox in there. Z lady, see, his forehead is shining. His forehead is shining from sea to shining sea. Big old forehead. I'm telling you, it's too much. It's too much. This man is wrinkled. Just quit. Just quit it. Quit your wicked ways. That man's forehead is wrinkled, and y'all done filled it so full of Botox, it's about to bust. It's shining, KK Michelle, from sea to shining sea. That forehead, if they put any more in, it's almost like it's gonna do like a Twinkie. It's gonna do like a zit. It's gonna do like a pimple. You just go up to him and just pop him, slap him on both sides, and something gonna come out. Something, it's just gonna squirt out like a adolescent pimple. It's just gonna all of that Botox. I'm like cheering if y'all don't leave that man's forehead alone. Leave that man's forehead alone. He's old. Quit playing. That man is 80 something. Quit playing. Baby, they done pumped his head up. I come to pump you up. They got somebody on staff at the White House that just comes and pumps his forehead full of Botox. Woo! Listen, I'm telling another first president's forehead bust on live TV, MCPA 12. Just woo! Child, and all the heat, you might not even have to touch him. The heat, and as hot as it is, he's gonna go somewhere, and that Botox in his forehead just gonna start heating up. Just gonna start heating. Y'all remember on Matrix? When Mr. Smith, when his head started going, all them bubbles and all that start going through his head, that's going to be Biden's forehead. Honey, that Botox going to be just, let me out of here. Let me out of here. And that heat going to heat it up into, it's just going to bust. Going to bust it wide open. Nonetheless, let me get back to this man. All right, so he has decreed and declared that we're not going to help China. Everything gonna explode, Z Lady C, because they got that man pumped up. Do you hear me? They got that man pumped up, full of Botox everywhere. Lord Jesus, Lord Jesus. And the blue pill probably not far away, because listen, everything on his body is pumped up. Everything. So at the end of the Michelle Brown, I'm telling what God loves is that's the truth. That man, listen, Shelly Thunder. Okay, let me act right. Let me come on. Listen, let me come on back. At the end of the, listen, he about to start leaking Stacey Fox like Rudy Giuliani's hair. Y'all know. Y'all remember when he came out, that dye was just running down the side. That dye was just running. Woo! Y'all listen to me. I'm trying to tell you, that man is pumped up. Do you hear the words coming out of my mouth? Now, he done made China and Beijing is just foaming and steaming over there. Z Lady C, okay, I'm going to act right. Beijing is upset because they are saying that this is an act of coercion. They are looking at his behavior and they're alleging, I see you, MCPA 12. They're saying this is an act of coercion. And so now that leads us to understand obviously there's some, because coercion implies there's something that somebody's trying to force somebody to do something they don't want to do, or whatever the case may be. Coercion says somebody's strong arming somebody. Honey 41, come on in here, sis. Nothing but mad love to you. Blessings and favor right back to you. It's good to have you in the Lion's Den. Now listen, at the end of the day, if we understand that China making this statement in response to President Biden's actions that he's taken, they're basically posturing. So at this point, for them to come out and allege that this man, by political power, is trying to coerce them, and this they are interpreting his action as a direct act of coercion. They're basically saying, now if something pops off, we didn't start it. Hello. They're basically saying, now, if something pops off, we didn't start it, because this man came at us with the action of coercion, and we're not happy and we're not having it. So, and all of this around AI, artificial intelligence. And I found it interesting that Biden said to America, we will not assist China in their artificial intelligence efforts, because quite frankly, there's so many areas that China has really exceeded and excelled far and beyond the United States in technology, in technological efforts, and just overall science and technology. So I found that very interesting, that Biden says to China, we're not going to assist you, we're not going to help you. I don't know. I feel like, and I know that we still create a lot of things, but at the end of the day, if you ask me, and I'm not anybody, but if you ask me, when you start talking about science and technology, I personally believe that China has gone beyond the United States. There was a day and a time when the United States was first in everything, but those days have long since been over, in my opinion. Those days have long since been over. And in many areas, we are trailing. Now, we continue to tell the story and sell the saga that we're still number one. But I feel like there are so many areas where we are not number one. But we want to make it sound like that. We want to make it look like that. I got you, Empress. Japan has got all the AI on lock. So at the end of the day, this is what I'll say to that, Empress Meow. While you got China and US lagging behind them, I'm just saying, while Biden is saying we're not going to help you, there's nothing to stop China and Japan from having an allegiance and an alliance amongst themselves and leave the United States out there just looking silly. So at the end of the day, I'm just saying, it has its own repercussions, but definitely it was reported to me this morning that China is not happy, and they have come out publicly to make a statement against President Biden and the action that he has taken. So that's what we got going on over in China this morning as we slumbered, slept, and slobbered. So then if we go over to Ukraine, and I'm not going to get a whole lot into that. Then if we go into Ukraine, I'm just touching on all the different things got going on around the world simultaneously. Ukraine is hollering that they need more air support and they need more air artillery, because Russia is getting ready to launch an attack against now this was the part that I found interesting about this story this morning. They are now bombing their civilian areas. Now, y'all help me on that. Can you just go out and bomb up civilian areas without that being considered an act of aggression against human rights? I don't know. But at the end of the day, Russia been doing that. I agree wholeheartedly. But at this point, Ukraine is asking for more machinery, more air machinery, more air support, and more air artillery. Now, and I'm gonna tell you how I feel about it, how I genuinely feel about it. I'm tired of the United States of America sending money everywhere but to the people that need it in the United States of America. I'm sick and tired. I'm sick and tired. So, this part right here, I'm not for sending artillery. I'm not for sending money. I'm not for sending planes, trains, and automobiles. I'm not for sending diddly till you take care. Listen, charity begins at home, then spread abroad. It doesn't spread abroad, then come back home, said by the great words of Elder Little, preacher from our denominational faith at the time. Elder Little said they were trying to coerce him for money. He said, my money go to my home church. Charity begins at home, then spread abroad. They don't spread abroad, then come back home. I'm with Elder Little. Charity begins at home and then spreads abroad. It doesn't spread abroad, then come back home. But I see you, Empress. You're for sending the artillery, but not for straight cash. Well, I'm like this, for the cost that it making the artillery, and let me get on my soapbox right here where artillery specifically is concerned, because if you remember, President Biden, his great state and his city from whence he hails actually has an artillery manufacturing plant, an ammunitions plant, and they have been awarded so many numerous contracts while they keep, if you remember, was maybe a couple of months ago, they started trying to say there was an artillery shortage. No, I don't believe it. Now, at the same time, they gave these the munitions plant there in Scranton, Pennsylvania. I believe it's where Biden is from. The munitions plant where he is from got these contracts, and I'm like, I'm no, ma'am, no, sir. Now y'all can buy that. You can drink that if you want to. I'm not drinking that I'm not drinking that Kool-Aid. So at the end of the day, to me, some of these cries for artillery and some of these cries for aircraft is, to me, a way to deal with lobbyists in these different, if you stop and think about it, war makes money. These companies and corporations that need that money, these corporations that have lobbyists out here making money and lobbying for business to come to their respective areas. I feel like these are all ploys to be able to try to justify why we've got contracts going to now, because this is what I'm going to say about that. War has always made money. Whenever the economy gets rocky, whenever the economy gets crazy, you might as well look for a war lurking somewhere around the corner, because, honey, that's when they really start making money. So I look at that and I question bullets, bombs, and band-aids. That's it right there, Stacy. Bullets, bombs, and band-aids make money. So, and I'm like, all the munitions plants in the country, and the one in Scranton just happens to be the one that gets the contract. No. We greasing folks' palms. That's what I'm gonna say. We are greasing folks' palms. So at the end of the day, the munitions, every time they scream munitions, then we get to make more. And I'm sure a lot of those contracts are going to continue to go to Scranton, Pennsylvania. And I just think that's egregious. Then we have, like you said, Lockheed Martin. You got the Wichita area. You got those that are SK 8843. Put the brothers' names in there. I cannot remember what their names are. But you got billionaires that really are very, very key in political power. They're very key in political power. Now, they may be hiding behind their corporation, but they're using the money from those corporations to wield power and control things. I can't think of the name of the brothers. It's a family out of Wichita that's wielding a whole lot of power that controls and dominates in the aerodynamics and the airplane building business. So at the end of the day, you got these same individuals that just keep making money hand over fist, just keep making money hand over fist. So I'm not for I'm not for sending stuff over there when we still got people right here in these here United States that need help. So I'm not for that. Now, those are the things. There was so much going on around the world today, and I just wanted to touch on that. I'm not going to get completely into that as far as dumping off into the deep end. But at the end of the day, I do want you to know that there is some unrest going on around the world, even as we speak. And I just didn't want you to be oblivious to that. Now, let me come back and pick up some of the stories that have been put out here. I'm gonna do this, and we're not gonna spend a lot of time talking about the again the situation, what happened out there on the boat dock. I'm still very much opposed to this idea and agenda that they're pushing, that it had no racial overtones to it whatsoever. I totally disagree. As a matter of fact, at the end of the day, Boeing. I'm talking about Boeing, but what's the family? What's the all of those? A lot of those. What do I want to say? Airline, as well as I gotta name that. There you go. The Cook, however they pronounce their name, the Koch brothers, the Cook brothers. That's what I'm talking about. They are very instrumental in a lot of what's happening in this country. They wield a lot of power. They wield a lot of money. So it's not a shock to me that suddenly Ukraine is crying and screaming they need air support. They need more airplanes. They need more air artillery. I'm not shocked at all that would be their current cry, that they need more of that, because at the end of the day, those that build the airplanes and those that build the stealth planes and all of that, they're just getting ready to come into a whole lot of money. And I feel like all of that is folks out here greasing each other's palms, while at the end of the day, we ain't getting nothing. So, and you can take that money and spend it on the people in your own country. That's the way I feel about that. And y'all out here playing games as far as I'm concerned. Now, I do want to come and I do want to this. It's reported to me that Shirley Chisholm came back from the grave. And she came back from the grave, children, to put this out into the atmosphere. If they don't give you a seat at the table, bring a folding chair. Now, let's just say that the ancestors, I told y'all, they said he's Shelly Thunder. Z Lady C, you know, this chair will live forever. Now, at the end of the day, I told y'all, they said when that brother threw that hat and the hat went to the ancestors, I just want y'all to know that they woke Shirley Chisholm up. They woke her up cheering. The first Black woman to run for president. They woke her up from the crypt. They woke her up, children. They woke her up. And so Shirley came back to speak to the peoples, Rebel. And they said, if they don't give you a seat at the table, bring your folding chair. Now, it was reported to me. It was reported to me. I had to bring that one in and just let you know. Henderson Dion, come on in here. Good to see you. Mad love to you. I hear you talking. This is your first time, I believe, in the chat sharing. I appreciate you for coming in and talking. I appreciate you so much. Mad love, and welcome to the Lion's Den. Now, at the end of the day, I saw this. I'm telling you, the internet is undefeated. We saw Martin Luther King standing with the chair on yesterday. We see Shirley coming back from the crypt to tell us, listen, if they don't give you a seat at the table, get your folding chair and do your thing. That's the way. Listen, that chair will never die. That chair has become immortal. And please believe me when I tell you, it ain't about to go nowhere anytime soon, because the saints are going in on the chair. Now, I want to come here and I'm going to get ready. Michelle Brown put something in the chat that I'm going to also show. I appreciate you, Michelle. Did I say Michelle Brown? That's what I meant to say. If I didn't, I appreciate you for putting that in the chat. Thank you so much. So at the end of the day, I'm going to play this once more and again, and I'm going to go back and cover something that I want to talk about to kind of tie into Michelle Brownell. I'm sorry. I got two Michelles, both of them Michelles, but I want to make sure I call the right one. Michelle Brownell put in the chat. I want to share this video as a refresher back to I've already showed it, but I want to show it once more and again because I want us to understand that this brother very succinctly kind of put in a nutshell what really happened in let me get this volume turned down. What really happened, what we saw happen in Alabama, and we're going to continue on in the conversation. Let's go right here.
Impacted hundreds of years of racial oppression bubbling back to the surface after yet another incident of white privilege disrespecting black bodies. It was black people rising up after white lawmakers just refused to comply with the orders of the nation's highest court to draw a second black congressional district in a state that is 27% black. It was an act of defiance against a white football coach who made millions of dollars off the uncompensated labor of black bodies, but now spreads racist conspiracy theories from his perch in the United States Senate. It was a rebellion against 6 decades of anti-democratic white rule in a small Alabama town that is 85% black and just elected a black mayor, only to have the former white mayor and city council members reappoint themselves. It was resistance against white Alabama lawmakers who pretend that all lives matter while refusing to accept federal funds to give health care to the people in their own state who are poor and disproportionately black. It was a demand for respect and affirmative action to heal the wounds of the past, of George Wallace standing in the schoolhouse door in Tuscaloosa, of state troopers beating John Lewis in Selma, of Bull Connor's police dogs biting black children in Birmingham, and of 4 precious black girls murdered on Sunday morning at the 16th Street Baptist Church. It was the anointed fingertips of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. writing prophetic words on scraps of paper in a narrow Alabama jail cell that scolded the white moderate who preferred a negative peace, which is the absence of tension, to a positive peace, which is the presence of justice. It was the spirit of our enslaved ancestors, ferried in chains and riverboats along the same Alabama River where the newly crowned Michael B. Phelps swam to a black man's rescue. It was an FU to a country singer threatening black people not to try that in a small town. It was the reason why Nina Simone sang that Alabama's got me so upset. It gave new meaning to the voice of Luther Vandross that a chair is just a chair even when there's no one sitting there. And it was the literal expression of Langston Hughes' dream deferred, drying up like a raisin in the sun, sagging like a heavy load until the day it came to explode. What happened?
And that right there, children, I wanted to replay that to remind us, if you say, what is all the hoopla about and why does this continue to almost pick up steam? Because, and I'm going to kind of have an educational moment here at the end. And so I want to get this in and lead up to it, because this has been building, basically, as this brother is saying, what led up to Alabama, what led up to last August the 5th, what led up to this is a series of things, a culmination of things that people are reacting to and responding to. So at this point, understand it didn't just come out of the blue. It didn't just pop out of nowhere, but this is a cumulative frustration of the black community that when we saw that video at the riverfront, KB Browns, there's my brother. I love me some you. Come on in here, brother. Come on in here. Mad love to you. Make yourself, you're right at home. Now, so this idea and this understanding that the peoples is tired, we tired, and are at this point in time, I believe that we are galvanized. And now I want to see us take it forward. I want to see us continue to move forward with it. I want to make it very, very clear. It's not just 2019 was the end of 400 years. Thank you for that, Dion. I want us to understand there's so many things that have brought us to this moment. I want to play this clip that Michelle put in, and I appreciate you, Michelle, because as she said, it's an old clip, but these are speaking to how we got here, why we're here, but then even more so to understand our need and demand that we move forward and make a difference. So as we look and listen, I'm going to play this clip that Michelle shared. I'm going to give you a warning and alert for those that are sensitive, those that cannot deal. It does have a language alert. I'm not tripping on it. You know, for those that might be like, why would you play that? It's got language. And child, if you can't get past the language to hear what the message is, you're missing the whole point. And that's what I want to deal with on this morning. I want you all to hear the point of what this message is saying. So, Michelle, thank you once more and again for submitting this for the Lions Den entertainment. I don't even want to say entertainment. This isn't entertainment. Sister is just telling the truth. I think I had this. Let me see. I had this loaded up, preloaded. I want us to really, really stop and think. And I want you all to really ask yourselves, the Atlantic slave trade started in 1619 to 2019. That's why the world is going crazy. I hear you, Dion. You better talk your talk. I really want us to pay attention. There's so much to understand. And and while I'm talking, I'm also looking. Yes, this is what I want. This is what I want. I want us to hear what Sister is saying here. Again, a language alert for anybody that may potentially be offended, but hear the words and the message. Don't be thrown off for those of you that are sensitive to language. If you're really sensitive to language and it's not, it's sprinkled in, but if you really need to just mute yourself and come back, that's okay too. And I'll wave at you. You'll see when she goes off the screen, it'll be over. Okay. And you can come back then. But here we go. I want you all to hear.
This is how I talk. This how I talk. Even though I know it's not grammatically correct, that don't make me no difference. I just need you to respect the way I say what I say when I talk every day, even though I may not speak for effect. This is how I talk. We live in a country that's so full of shit, so don't criticize me just because I can't get with your grammar, your lingo, your doing your thing. Oh, I'm wrong because I like blackjack and your ass like bingo. Oh, no, I don't think so. This is how I talk. You think I'm going to listen to people like you when I see, hear, and read all the shit that you do? The same country that exploits us and uses our skills for profit and gain, but our brothers they kill, and my naive sisters you manipulate so well need to just wear a sign saying sex for sale, but only corporate pimps will make an attempt to market that product, and they do it well, because if you sell your own body, your ass going to jail. This is how I talk. Just because I don't say it how you tell me I should, that don't make what I'm saying misunderstood. I talk like I want to. I'm just being me. I feel justified, and I just feel so free because I've experienced up close your hypocrisy when you stole away my identity, then told me that I'm supposed to be me and tried to trick a bitch by telling me I'm free. This is how I talk. This is how it's going to be. Until you explain to me some foul shit about you, I'm going to talk just the way that I choose to. See, I really don't think you got my best interest at heart. I'm not being rebellious. I'm just being smart, because it's really not easy to live in a nation that's okay with welfare but not reparations, trapping you in a system and calling it help. Shit, just open up the door and I get it myself. This how I talk. This all I got left, to say what I want to and in my own way, and I'm going to utilize the right while I got it today, because if the right people get pissed, they're going to take that away. Don't forget that in schools it's illegal to pray. Don't hate on me because I call what I see. Just don't fear the truth, because it will set you free. But this freedom we speak of, it comes with a price. Don't lose your strength because you're trying to be nice. Go ahead and piss somebody off once or twice. I guarantee you it'll be worth the sacrifice. This how I talk. The junkies, the dealers in my neighborhood, y'all stress in the news that they ain't no good, but what I never hear about is how they could have access to millions in trafficking goods when most of these people never leave the neighborhood. But as soon as little rich suburbanites mimic, you're screaming on a tube, the shit's epidemic. It wasn't a problem as long as it stayed in the parks and the streets where the dark children played. This how I talk, and I won't shut up till all those in power know that we've had enough. Tired of seeing... We're tired. Tired of being caught in political catch-22s. Tired of seeing your people being shot on the news. Tired of feeling hopeless in a world with no hope. Tired of seeing loved ones die from dealing with dope. Tired of worrying about what your kids hear and see. Tired of the alarming rate of HIV. Tired of harassment. Tired of seeing loved ones fail. Tired of getting collect phone calls and letters from jail. Tired of imbalanced budgets in your community. Tired of worrying about what your kids hear and see. Tired of trying to educate your children in a system that not only won't educate, but usually will diss them. Tired of them telling you how not to wear your hair. Tired of going to court trying to stress the shit ain't fair. Tired of every time it's a cruel killing or a maiming, the perpetrator only gets sensitivity training. Tired of crying till you're so tired all you can do is cry. Tired of asking yourself over and over why. Tired of seeing the same shit in the news every day. Tired of hearing the perpetrator suspended with pay. That's a fucking vacation if you want to keep it real. Tired of knowing they don't give a damn how you feel. This how I talk. You better learn to respect that it ain't about ignorance, it's about dialect. I talk like I wanna. I don't need your permission. Don't be tripping because I end a sentence with a preposition. This how I talk. You need to stay in check. To me it's called flavor. Now where your flavor at? This how I talk, and no, I'm not high. This just how I talk. This just how I cry.
That right there. This is how I talk. This is how I cry. Adele Givens does a great job. And again, Michelle Brown, thank you for sharing that with us. That's it. That's all. At the end of the day, this is what has brought us to this moment. She does a marvelous job of articulating. And Michelle, I love it. I love it. I love it. And for those of you, I saw you, Stacy 546, you love her. Listen, powerful, Rebel. Come on. Listen, we tired, honey 41, just tired. We tired. But we're tired of the treatment, but we're not tired of moving forward. We're not so tired that we're going to sit down and fold our hands and sit down and do nothing. Bravo is exactly right, Cassandra Woke. We're going to continue to push. Now, I mentioned on yesterday, as we talk about, I want you to think, and anybody here, tall pumps. It's pumping tall. You better come on in here. There's my gorgeous sister from Chi-Town. Good morning to you, tall pumps. If I was home, you'd know I put it on. I'd put it on you. I'd put you on the pole. Good morning to you, sis. Mad love to you. Now, as we were talking about, I want us to think about engagement, because what we saw on August the 5th was engagement. We saw a community of Black brothers and sisters that saw one of our own being wrongfully abused on that riverfront dock. And we saw the brothers and the sisters and the ancestors rise up and say, that's not, we're not going for that. This is how we talk. That white chair, this is how we talk. That hat toss, this is how we talk. Swimming across the moat, this is how we talk. And it's not the only language that we have, but it is definitely the language of people that say, I'm tired. I'm definitely tired. So as Brother Dion mentioned, he put the time window in of the time that we saw from the slave trade to the present. And I would contend that, listen, the slave trade is still going on, in my opinion. The slavery is still going on, in my opinion, as she talks about how we will sell we'll go to jail for selling our bodies, but the corporations can sell our bodies and it's no issue. The corporations can use our bodies and abuse our bodies and there's no issue. The corporations can use us up and spit us out, chew us up and spit us out, and there's no issue. The corporations can do whatever they want to do to our bodies. They can prostitute us, no issue. So at the end of the day, come on in here, Eileen Sideways. They can do all of that. If we do it to ourselves, it's a crime. If they do it to us, there's no issue. And we see this same energy that's still present and manifested. And I'm going to say this in my opinion, because another one of the things that came out this morning is that the FBI, the police chief of Montgomery, and the police department is continuing to contend there was no racial overtones to that incident on the boat dock. Now, I don't care what nobody says. There is no way, shape, or form or fashion that you're going to say to me that what we watched and witnessed on that boat dock had no racial overtones or implications to it. Now, they said, and they tried to, the way they reported it in the media, that someone said they heard racial slurs being thrown from the white people, and they said that was basically debunked, and that was not true. Now, at the end of the day, that shop owner that said he wanted superior white dollars. You heard what I said. We looked at it on yesterday. We saw the deets. We saw the details on yesterday. We saw it with our own eyes. The shop owner who said he didn't need our money, he just needed superior white dollars. And who was it? I'm trying to remember who told us what superior white T. Summers, I think it was, reused black dollars. Recycled, reused black dollars are what superior white dollars are. Now, at the end of the day, on his page, it was evident that this brother had racial issues, Rebel. This brother had racial issues. So to try to convince us, and then to say, this is the part that really makes me, what are superior white dollars? And that's the question I asked on yesterday, Stacy 546, to which T. Summers came in the chat and said, superior white dollars ain't nothing but recycled, reused black dollars. I loved it. But at the end of the day, to have the FBI come in and reiterate this point that there was no racial implications to this melee any way, shape, or form, it makes you give side eye to the FBI. It makes you give side eye, as if we already weren't, but it makes you give more side eye to the FBI, more side eye to the police department and the police chief, because at the end of the day, we ain't buying what you selling. Why you always lying? Why you always lying? So at the end of the day, it just will not translate to the black community, and really anybody that had eyeballs, anybody that had sense, and anybody that saw what happened in that melee and skirmish. You cannot tell any of us that there was no overtones or implications of anything racial in that event. That's a lie straight from the pit of hell. So what has to be present for black folk to get a hate crime charge? Lucy, explain it, because I guess racial slurs. Listen, I'm telling you, attacks against us are not enough, and we sick of this church. Could it be? I see you, Tall Pumps, and I'm going to give it to you. Could it be? The devil. Dun, dun, dun. Ain't nothing but that old slimy devil. So they seem to never find anything racial when it comes to black folks. Z Lady C. Now, if it had been, and I'm not no hatred, no nothing, but if it had been our Jewish brothers and sisters, if it had been our Asian brothers and sisters, oh my goodness, it would have been an uproar, and in a heartbeat, we would have heard all kinds of, we got to stand up because, but baby, at the end of the day, I don't care what we go through as a black community. It's never, ever, ever racial. And it's just absolutely infuriating and angry. It takes the death of a black man. And that's exactly right, Michelle Brownell. That's when it's a hate crime. No death. It's not racial. Come on, Michelle. You better talk to me in here. A double spirit and K2 whoop. There's my double portion and my girl. Come on in here cheering. It's so good to see you this morning, and welcome, welcome, welcome. And thank you to the Lions Den. So I'm like, this continues this narrative that Black lives don't matter. And once more and again, we're robbed of the acknowledgement that this was absolutely positively driven with racial overtones. So I you just it says still that the country is not ready to deal with the truth of their sins. It still says the FBI came out, the police department came out. It still says to me, you all are not ready to deal with your sins. So at the end of the day, we should pray for Exodus. And listen, I'm praying for this is what I want. I want to be free. I ain't going nowhere, Dion. I want to be free, but I ain't going nowhere. This is my country. I was born here. We built this country. Why am I going? It's almost like saying build a house and then just walk off and leave it and let somebody else live in it. And that's basically what we've been doing for how many hundreds of years. We built a house and we built the country and a nation, and then not because of choice, but because of laws and because of racism that has been rampant in this country. It's like you build a house and then walk off and leave it for us to live in and enjoy. So at the end of the, I ain't going nowhere. So it's 50-50 on that because you got so many of them. Come on. At the end of the day, so many of them have gotten off tall pumps. So many have gotten off. Before they hand it over, they will destroy it. Well, and this is where I say, I want us to come together and unify as a people so that we can begin to create the things that we continue to create and then possess it ourselves. This is all I'm saying to us. This is a time and a season where all of the things that we've created, if we would just create for ourselves, we could make a totally different reality. I'm going to continue to scream that from the mountaintops. I'm going to continue to say, let's empower ourselves. I'm going to continue to say, let's look at our resources. Let's look at our entrepreneurship. Let's look at our networking. Let's look at how we're banding together. Let's look at our ingenuity, our creativity, our genius. Let's pool our resources together, both POOL and PULL. Let's pool our resources together and begin to make another reality. Let's begin to possess the land. Let's begin to buy land and contain and continue to own what we have and not just throw it out there and let it go. Let's think about making smart choices about how we invest our money. Let's make smart choices about how we understand the difference between something that's going to appreciate in value. Y'all know I talk about this all the time, and something that's going to depreciate in value. Instead of spending money for tennis shoes and spending hundreds of dollars on tennis shoes, those same hundreds of dollars could be put someplace else to be able to build something else. Let's look at our disposable income and redirect it. I'm not even talking about let's come up with some new. And at the same time, I am saying let's come up with some new. But I'm saying some of us could really redirect what we have. Black dollars are the number one buying dollars in this country. But if that is the case, why are we not bettering ourselves with our Black dollars? These are the things that we're going to have to rethink and revamp our minds to. But there's no quit for me, Dion. I don't care. I don't care how much is they going to destroy it. No, you can't destroy me. You can't destroy mine. You can't destroy what I'm putting and coming together and binding together with other people. You can't destroy that. The only way we will be destroyed is divided. So at the end of the day, and so stop spending money on their culture and their holidays. I'm with you on that. We are trained to only consume, Crystal Method. We are trained to only consume. So this right here is where I'm saying we need to have a totally different mentality. Let me say this, and this is true about the public education system. The public education system in this country was designed, and this I'm not making this up. This is the truth. The public education system was designed to make followers. The public education system was designed to get people to a point where they can actually get into an area where you are the consumer, you are the worker, you are never the owner, you are never the person that's really making the benefit from the things that we've made. So many of these things that the country is enjoying was made by black. The reason why that folding chair is blessing us so much, that was made by a black man. That folding chair was made by a black man, as well as so many other things that we enjoy in this country. It's more better with Retta. Come on in here, Retta Divine. Mad love to you. Listen, if you're not following Retta Divine, she is a streamer. Quit your ways. Quit your wicked ways. So much mad love come to you. Toxic Buns Bunny, come on in there. We talking facts. Good morning to you, and welcome to the Lion's Den. So this is what I'm saying. We've created so many things that at certain points in time, we did not have the ability to take ownership of, but that's not the case anymore. We can take ownership of the things that we do. We can take ownership of not just being the consumer, but again, let's take our dollars and begin to put them someplace where it makes a difference. This is what we have to do to reprogram our mind and our thinking. And it's something that can be done if we would but do it. So at the end of the day, I mentioned on yesterday as I was talking, and I'm gonna take a little bit of a detour here, but I mentioned on yesterday as I was talking and exhorting us to come together as one and not be afraid. Don't y'all be scared. Don't y'all be scared. We're doing something, we're moving in a different way, but I want you to understand we've got power, we've got love, we've got a sound mind. As we're talking about going a different direction, understand there's going to be some opposition. Don't be moved by that. And don't get into this jaded, shaded mindset of defeatism. Do not allow this attitude, idea, and energy of defeat to come on you before we even get started. People already start, and I'm like, no. You talking with the wrong talk. Just be, I'm not going to tell you to leave. Just be quiet. Just stop talking. I'm not going to ask you to leave. Just be quiet. Now, so let the energy and the mindset and let the contagion of we can do this take over the land and take over the people so that we can do this. We absolutely can. As a man thinketh in his heart, as a woman thinketh in her heart, so is she, so is he. We can do this. We need enough people to believe and come forward and say we can do this. Now, again, I'm going to take a little bit of a detour, and this is where the educational part is going to come in, because I mentioned on yesterday, I had seen a clip, and I still don't have that particular clip, but I found another one that I want to do because it kind of gives a little more detail. I mentioned yesterday, and the woman's name is Mary Turner, and this happened in 1918. I mentioned on yesterday that as I was going through the different things that got us to where we are, and I mentioned this particular story, and it was news to me. It was something that I enjoyed learning. Some of you may already know who Mary Turner is, but this was a beautiful, I'm going to say, it's not a beautiful, it's a tragic story, but it's a beautiful example. It's a perfect example. Maybe that's a better word I want to use, because beautiful, nothing about this story is beautiful. But it's a perfect example of how stories can be squashed, how history can be pushed down. Come on here, KB Browns, talk to me. I can do all things through Christ, through the anointing that strengthens me. I'm anointed for this. And that's what I say even about what I'm doing as a spiritual thought leader. I'm anointed for this. I'm anointed. Everybody can't maybe sit and have the conversations and have the passion and have the stamina I have around this conversation. I'm anointed for this. Everybody's not. I am. So you're going to get it from me. I'm anointed for this. Now, as I go back to the story of Mary Turner, this is another story that almost like Emmett Till was a huge story in its time. This happened during the lynchings of 1918. I'm going to roll the video, but when I mentioned it, and some inquired as to the factual information surrounding that story. You know, I always like to come, if I can, and have a learning moment and have a learning experience. So I want to show and roll this beautiful bean footage, if I may, because at the end of the day, there's always so much to learn. Because if we don't know our past, we cannot fully understand all the things about our future. You understand what I'm saying? I want us to have a full understanding about where we're going and how we plan to get there. That means we've got to know. So this story, again, when I said on yesterday, they were hanging children, a pregnant woman, and cut the woman's baby out of her stomach. Listen to this story of Mary Turner. For anybody that has not heard or known of this story, this will be our learning opportunity and our learning moment to hear something and learn something that maybe you didn't know. And this is a true story that actually happened. Here we go.
In May of 1918, there was a series of lynchings in Georgia. They came to the house of Hayes and Mary Turner and took Hayes Turner because they thought that he was involved in a conspiracy to kill a white plantation owner. They took him off and lynched him. His wife was 9 months pregnant.
And Mary Turner said that if she ever found out who committed these crimes against her husband, she was going to swear out a warrant and have them arrested. The mob went insane at the impudence of an African-American woman daring to challenge them. And they pulled her out of her home and dragged her to a river, strung her up, tortured her, lit her on fire, and she still wasn't dead yet. So a mob member came and cut open her womb, and the baby spilled out. And the baby was alive, and they stomped the baby, and then left Mary Turner and her child to die.
In the land of Jim Crow laws and customs, Mary Turner had done the unthinkable, and to the white supremacist, the intolerable. She had threatened to fight back.
I'm gonna play that one more time, and then
Carolyn Bryant.
Quite frankly, even this is still take me back to where I want to go. Even this is a slight telling of the story. We'll talk about it.
In May of 1918, there was a series of lynchings in Georgia. They came to the house of Hayes and Mary Turner and took Hayes Turner because they thought that he was involved in a conspiracy to kill a white plantation owner. They took him off and lynched him. His wife was 9 months pregnant.
And Mary Turner said that if she ever found out who committed these crimes against her husband, she was going to swear out a warrant and have them arrested. The mob went insane at the impudence of an African-American woman daring to challenge them. And they pulled her out of her home and dragged her to a river, strung her up, tortured her, lit her on fire, and she still wasn't dead yet. So a mob member came and cut open her womb, and the baby spilled out. And the baby was alive, and they stomped the baby, and then left Mary Turner and her child to die.
In the land of Jim Crow laws and customs, Mary Turner had done the unthinkable, and to the white supremacist, the intolerable. She had threatened to fight back.
Now, I just want to come here because in actuality, I want you to really understand that this was narrated by Richard Roundtree. But at the end of the day, I want you to understand they gave a very whitewashed version of that story. They gave a very so let's get to the details of the lynching. And her family has actually started a anti-lynching organization that goes around and really deals with so many of the different elements of lynching that occurred and trying to get people to understand what all was involved in lynching. Now, now let's understand lynching by itself. And I'm going to deal with this idea where they wanted to make it sound like if I ever found out who did it, da 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 da. Understand this: her husband was killed on one day. She spoke out that she wanted justice for her husband, and they killed her the next day. So we're talking about from one day to the next. The whole family was annihilated. Now, this is what I want to understand. This is what I want you to understand about the difference between a lynching and a hanging. And hangings could be lynchings, but this is the issue about lynching. Lynching was considered an extrajudicial killing by a large group. It could often be done as a public execution by a mob, and a lot of times that's how they did it, with the alleged transgressor convicted by the people, or they would use it for intimidation for others, which was basically you see both of these in the lynching of Mary Turner and her husband. So the husband was basically an extrajudicial killing because they thought that he was in cahoots on how to overthrow and or kill a particular slave owner. So that was what motivated them to kill him. Okay, so be clear, that's where it started. They thought. Now, if you go back, I'm not going to go through all of that. There's some videos out there. If you go back, this was actually tied to convict leasing. If you're familiar with the idea of convict leasing, after the Civil War, they came up with this new amendment where basically in the amendment, if you were a criminal, if you were a convict, they could basically do anything and everything they wanted to with you. And this was still it was just another form of slavery. So they just started going picking black folks up and putting them on as convicting them, and then as a convict, they could lease them out as basically it was slave labor. It was listen, it's the same. Now, I want y'all to hear me when I'm talking, children. I want you to hear me when I'm talking. So at the end of the day, if you look at pipeline, prison, school to pipeline, the prison pipeline that we talk about, basically, you're not talking about anything differently than what they did when they had the convict leasing program. Hear me when I'm saying this, because I want y'all to understand it's nothing new under the sun. And I want us to come to a point where we stop just allowing these same, if you don't know your history, and that's one thing. Barbara Hardy, my Visa Day friend. Oh my God, I love you, sis. Good morning to you. Come on in here. Mad love to you. This is where I'm saying, if you don't know your history, you're doomed to repeat it. If you don't know your history, you're doomed to repeat it. So this part right here, and I'm not going to go really, really in depth. Please go out, just Google Mary Turner, and you'll go to the videos and just look at all the videos so you can educate yourself. But it stemmed from the convict leasing program and something that the black people started rising up against. Okay, so, and there was one of the slave owners that did get killed. Now you know how that is. Let the slaves start coming together, and almost like if I were to say the reason why nobody wants to talk about Haiti, nobody wants to help Haiti, nobody wants to support Haiti, and the United States still owes Haiti all kind of money, because Haiti is that one black country where those people rose up in revolt and said, not today. Haiti was like, listen, you're not going to come over here and colonize us and turn us into a slave state. You're not going to do it. And so at the end of the day, let me tell you what, those are the kind of stories that you're not going to hear repeated. And those are the kind of stories you're not going to hear retold, because what does that do? It gives people hope. Hear me. It gives people hope. So where we had a slave convict situations where the slaves did rise up and kill one of the masters, then you had this angst and this fear that came out amongst the other slave owners that the fear that their slaves are going to rise up and do the same thing became very, very real. So this is how Mary Turner's husband ended up being killed, because they were alleging that he was part of a conspiracy to also during this energy. And this to me is kind of like appropriate to what's going on right now with the riverfront, because the energy of the Black community is high. The energy and the hope level of the Black community is high. So you might as well anticipate there are going to be different things to try to dash that and beat it down. I want you to see the parallel. I'm putting the, listen, this is being put side by side because I want you to see there's nothing new under the sun. It's the same candy bar, different wrapper. But if you didn't know the first candy bar, you don't see the second candy bar. So here we have pipeline from prison to the plantation, literally convict leasing. You took those convicts, folks just disappeared. There were many people that ended up in the convict leasing program and convicts in the prison. You hear them talk about the chain gang. Why did they call it the chain gang? Because these were prisoners. This was also a part of this program. These were prisoners where they were getting free labor. They were making these, it was slavery all over again. They just found a way, because if you were convicted, they could do whatever they wanted to do with your body. They could do, now just like the sister said, this is how I talk. This is how I talk, because the corporations can do whatever the corporations want to do and use my body. The corporations can enslave me. The corporations can use me till they use me up. But if I sell my own body, I'm going to jail. Y'all ain't ready for me. So at the end of the day, I'm trying to get you to understand how all of this is the same soup just warmed over. Don't y'all? You got to know your history. So the convict leasing program and the uprising where one of the slave owners was killed was the impetus behind this fear and this energy. Now, I'm not going to lie. Even if we talk about what we saw on the riverfront is the energy. I wish, just like back then, if they had continued that energy. If you think just on sheer numbers, those slaves on those plantations outnumbered those slave owners. That I'm gonna say it once more and again. And this is what I am trying to incite a certain energy. I want y'all to roar, KB Browns. If they had just continued that energy of the uprising from the convicts, if they had just continued that energy, the numbers of the slaves outnumbered the slave holders. Hear me, y'all. And I'm going somewhere with this thought. I hope this is resonating with your spirit. So if we understand, how did they break that down? Fear. Fear was the tool by which to break it down. How did they do it? With these extrajudicial mobs. Those were mobs. And that's why when you start talking about, do they have the names of the people who did it? Stacy 546, it was probably the whole town. How about that? It was more than likely the whole town. I said what I said, and I'll add to it before I take it back. It was probably that whole dastardly racist white town, not just one person, because they did this for sport as well as they did it to make an example in front of the people to incite fear. This was terror. They were terrorizing these people. Now, this becomes the issue. And y'all, listen, if something happened to me, y'all just call me Mary Turner, because I mean Jesus every step of the way. I mean this thing. Listen, Mary Turner, this Black woman, and this is what made them so angry. She had the nerve. She had the unmitigated gall. She had the audacity to say, y'all that killed my husband, I'm going to swear out a warrant against you and you will be tried. And this was what made him so angry. So the husband had the extrajudicial mob killing him because they thought he was getting ready to incite a riot, which wasn't what they did on the riverfront. That's not what they did down there on the dock on August the 2nd. Good morning, Lady T. So much mad love to you. Come on in here. They didn't incite a riot. There was no racial overtones to what happened on August the 5th on the river dock. No, there was nothing to that. Now, this woman, after they had killed her husband, had the nerve to speak up. And I told y'all yesterday, the day before, the biggest thing that is desired is for us to be quiet, say nothing, do nothing, see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. Y'all, we not the three monkeys. We are not the three monkeys. We are not the three gorillas. Open your mouth and say something. Now, this is where the problem becomes an issue because of fear. So when we see ultimately what happened to this woman was the essence of, whether you realize it or not, Ida B. Wells, I went back and I studied it. Ida B. Wells, who at that time had the power of the pen because she was a journalist. If you've heard of Ida B. Wells and you know of her journalism, put a 1 in the chat. Ida B. Wells, who wrote in the newspaper, especially to the Black community, Ida B. Wells took the story of Mary Turner and the lynchings of that time and began to make an uproar and begin to speak out against lynching. She began to say and make the country have to acknowledge lynching is wrong. She took her pen, she began to write. So this is the thing I want y'all to understand. Yes, somebody would say, but that woman died. And this is how dastardly they were. And Richard Roundtree, God bless him, y'all know him as Shaft. Richard Roundtree narrated, but he narrated what they wrote, and baby, they cleaned that story up. Because at the end of the day, you talk, like they said, they lynched cheerings. You talking about, you just thought it was men, you thought it was grown men, you thought it was women, maybe grown women. Baby, they were lynching children. Now, let me tell you, in this particular story, especially what makes that even more dastardly, you want to wipe this whole family as much as you can off the face of this earth. Here you come to a situation because she had the nerve to speak up as a Black woman. Who you think you talking to? We'll show you. And not only will we show you, we're going to terrorize and intimidate the rest of the Black community. Now, I'm going to say it once more and again. The numbers were with the Black folk on those plantations, but fear, do y'all understand the words coming out of my mouth? Fear immobilized them so that they could not rise up. Now, so here we go. You say at the end of the day, to make a real, it's just evil, Z Lady C, to make a real example out, I'm talking about Mary Turner for anybody that just came in, the story of Mary Turner. They hung her by her feet. Let's start right there. They hung her by her feet. Now, this is a woman that's full-term pregnant. They hung her by her feet. We're going to show you who you think you talking to. Hung her by her feet. Baby, the woman, they stabbed her numerous times. The woman didn't die. They stabbed her, cut the baby out. The woman didn't die. Now, listen, let me tell you what they did. Even before that, initially, they set her on fire. Baby, let me tell you, the woman burnt up would not die. Now, I'm going to tell you what. If the Lord wasn't with her, and y'all coming from a totally different angle, I'm sure y'all see it from a whole different angle. But listen, this woman, we done hung this woman, she won't die. We done hung her up by the feet, she won't die. We done set her on fire, she won't die. We done stabbed her, she won't die. They shot her. I'm trying to remember how many bullets they said was in that woman. God was with her, KB Browns. They shot the woman multiple times. Multiple times. The woman just kept on living. The woman just kept on living. And I'm going to tell you what, I feel like, listen, there was such a level of grit and determination, and God was with her for sure. Honey, sister was going to get her point across. Now let's deal with this, because this is true. And this is the report that was given. After they cut the baby out of her belly, they stomped the baby to death. Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? I'm telling the story of Mary Turner. Baby, she said, live, 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 live. She said, live. I shall not die, but live and declare the works of the Lord. That woman would not die. And so they just turned that situation into a firing squad. Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? It took all of that to kill Mary Turner. Does anybody understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? And I feel like God was with her. And even out of her death, these are some sick folk, Stacy. And now Stacy, while you say that, let me just deal with that for a minute. Now, again, these lynchings with these mobs, these lynchings were often done with the town present, with the children present, everybody's present. And then this was not an uncommon thing that they would do amongst themselves. They would go up and cut off body parts as souvenirs after they had killed the person. Did you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? They would go off, and especially the male genitalia. They would go up and cut off body parts. I said what I said, and I'll add to it if I take it back. Now, so at the end of the day, when we start talking about why do we want to get rid of CRT, why do we not want to talk about the things that really happen? Listen, it makes your blood curdle. Why? And this is really, let me bring it up to our time, and I could say in my lifetime of Emmett Till. That's why some people would say, why would Mamie Till show her son's emaciated body? And it was reported to me, several people that were interviewed at that time, it was reported to me that several people said he was so decomposed you could smell him before you got there. You could smell him, they said, from blocks away. So at the end of the day, why would somebody do that? And I'm going here for a point, and I know this is very graphic, but basically Mamie was saying, you're not going to forget what you did to my son. This is how I speak. This is how I speak. You're not going to get away with just sweeping this under the rug like you didn't do what you did. This is how I speak. Look at my son, smell my son, see my son, and see what your racism did to my child. Am I talking to anybody? But there's always something that wants to make us cower down and back up and say nothing, to make us be quiet. Why didn't you just quietly bring his body back and bury it somewhere? No, ma'am, no, sir. And it was the situation with Mary Turner that caused Ida B. Wells to begin to write. So this is what actually started the movement through the pen of Ida B. Wells, with the culmination of Mary Turner, that began to cause the country to have to deal with their issue of lynching. Am I making sense? So sometimes it may not be, and I'm going to say it once more and again, God was with that woman that she wouldn't die. All that stuff they did to that woman and she wouldn't die. And then to actually stop the baby to death. I'm going to go back to what Stacy said and let me deal with that point. Those are some sick folks. Those are some sick minds. Those are some sick people. And please believe that energy didn't just ride off into the sunset and fade away. It didn't just ride off into the sunset and fade away. Black people were not human to them. P-Dub Hall, good morning to you, and thank you for coming in. So much mad love to you. And this is the educational portion. I'm going to say that because I mentioned this story on yesterday, and I wanted to elaborate on it today because of the question. And I want y'all to know, this ain't no made up stuff. It's pure evil, KB Browns. This is pure evil. But I want you to understand, our children need to understand. Your children's children need to understand, so you don't get sucked into this ideology. Baby, they made that stuff up. It didn't happen. Yes, it did. It did happen. Ain't nobody made up nothing. And listen, I'm gonna go back to the idea that this started. Where did it start? Because of the convict leasing program, and some of the people rose up and killed the slave owner, and now all of a sudden we got this fear. We got to put the fear of God in them black folk, lest they all rise up and we lose our. They weren't worried about us as human beings. They didn't see us as humans, P-Dub Hall. They saw us like cows. They saw us like sheep. They saw us like pigs. They saw us like, baby, they didn't see not near one human. All they saw was chattel. They saw something that they could own, that they could possess, that they could control, that would make them money. That's all they saw. Now, I want to go back and I want to talk. I will see what you're saying. And when lynching happened, they take souvenirs from the body. They absolutely did, KB Browns. And now listen, let me tell you what. Some of you may run across this from place to place. They actually took pictures and used to use postcards and put lynchings on the postcards. That was the picture on the postcard. Now, if that ain't sick, I don't know what is. But that's the truth. And some of those postcards are still in existence. As my sister SK8843 says, it's racist porn. Racist porn. Please believe it. When God says yes, no one can say no. And if they happen to say no, it's not matter. It doesn't matter to me. So this is what I want you to understand. They had food gatherings at these lynchings. And this is, you listen, Z Lady C, this is what I want you to understand. Anytime your sick mind can bring little children to sit down and have a picnic basket while you watch somebody getting lynched and hung and tarred and feathered and burnt and set on fire, and then go cut off body pieces for souvenirs and then take pictures and put it on a postcard, you are sick. Now, back to what I'm going to say, and as Stacy said, these were some sick folk. And that's why I'm going to say once more and again, honey, racist folk are ill. They are sick. They are twisted. And my energy is so much above that. I'm doing good work. I ain't coming down. It's evil and sick. Look at some of the old pictures of lynchings and look at the size of the crowds. And all of those were God-fearing Christians, KB Brown. All of them considered themselves to be God-fearing Christians. This is why I said I'm a liberation theologist. Them same God-fearing Christians came out there and evangelized the slaves out there in the fields. And that's exactly where evangelicalism came from. And y'all sit up and listen to all of this stuff, and it's taught to you. It's brought to you for the purpose of manipulation, control, and bondage. And y'all still preaching some of that same madness. Stop it and miss me with that. So at the end of the day, and some preachers, please go research. Please go research. Stop regurgitating what your mama said, what your daddy said. Please go research so we can stop the madness. My God, today. Rick Warren, I'm going to say this and we're going to get ready to get up out of here. It's time to go see Rebel. But Rick Warren said he began even on the woman issue, and he got excommunicated from the Southern Baptist Church because his church, even though he was retired, started ordaining women. And he said when he went, now after the fact, he said he went back and he researched it from its origins. and found out it was wrong. Well, children, y'all been preaching this for how many years now? How many decades? How many centuries? And you just now come out talking about you finally went back and researched and found out that it was wrong after your church got excommunicated. I said what I said, and I'll add to if I take it back. So much of this bondage that we teach and we preach, and we don't even know the origins of it. But at the end of the day, these are all good Christians in the name of their Christianity, and felt like they were empowered, just like the children of Israel as the chosen people, to go out and conquest, kill up, whatever. It didn't matter. No, ma'am, no, sir. And don't tell me you're doing it in the name of God. Good morning, Yoshi Son 77. Thank you for those roaring biddies. I love me some you. Come on in here. But I'm gonna say once more and again, if you don't know the prison convict program, if you don't understand how the convict leasing program allowed them to continue slavery with their dastardly selves, and when I tell you people would be just coming up missing, never heard of again, that they done snatched off the streets and put in the convict leasing program. All it was another way to continue slavery. And this story of Mary Turner, it reminds us how we have to be that voice. We have to be. Somebody's got to open your mouth and say something. Somebody has got to speak. Somebody has to demand, no, you will not get away with this. And again, the story of Mary Turner is actually told and galvanized through the pen of Ida B. Wells to say lynching in the United States of America has got to stop. I want us to take the boldness of a Mary Turner. I want us to take the understanding of convict leasing and how there's always a way to figure out how to enslave us and keep Black folks impoverished in the system. Beloved, if y'all can't see them running that same program over and over and over and over, how many times will they rerun that same soup, different wrapper, same candy bar, different wrapper, same soup warmed over? They just keep doing these same plays over and over, cheering. Ain't nothing new. But what we don't know is what destroys us. And this, come on, KB Browns, that's exactly why Satan doesn't want these stories told. That's exactly why they want to change the narrative. That's exactly why they don't. But this is why I'm saying to you, I'm glad to be here on this platform to tell you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God. I want you to be bold, be strong, because the truth is with us, Cassandra. Don't back down for anything. Teach your children. Teach your children's children not only the history of the past, teach them your history because they need to know your history. Let them know from whence they've come. Give them the pride that they need to have in their family genealogy. Listen, tell the good, the bad, and the ugly because it's all a part of who we are. But at the end of the day, we've got to have knowledge because we're destroyed for lack of knowledge. And if we don't know our past, if we don't know our history, it's doomed to keep repeating itself over and over and over again, because at the end of the day, the story of Mary C. Turner is still being lived out today. Am I talking to anybody in here this morning? And that's why the sister said, this is how I talk. This is how I talk. And the video that showed how we got to the boat dock on August the 5th. It's a culmination of many things. But what are we going to do with that? We're going to be bold. We're going to be strong. The truth is with us. God is with us. Baby, don't back down. Don't back down. Do not back down. Tell the truth and shame the devil. Are y'all with me? I love you so much. It's time for us to go over to Rebel's house. Thank you so much, MCP 812. It's time for us to go. I hope you learned something. I hope that I shared something with you. If you don't know about the convict leasing program, which is still this school to prison pipeline, same thing, y'all. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. So this is a repeat. But if you don't know it's a repeat, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. You got to know where you come from. I love you guys. I hope that you take what I've said and find yourself empowered. Listen, nothing can stop us. The truth is on our side. God is on our side. You just need to know the truth, and the truth will make you free. Tell your children. I'm going to keep saying that because our children that do not know these stories, uh, and yes, do it when it's age appropriate. But at the end of the day, you got to tell your children and your children's children, they need to know from whence they've come. Everybody have an amazing day. As I always like to say to you, ride this raid train over. We're headed over to Rebel's house. Do what you love what you do. Listen, I want you to take this story of Mary Turner, let it germinate down in your shando, and let it empower you to get up and do something. Because listen, we sick of this church. I love y'all. Peace for your journey. And listen, won't be this way always.